I made a macro pad. So it's just this small keyboard here. I've got the screen that displays the different macros and which key they're assigned to. And so then I have 3 different profiles here, and each one has a slightly different lighting effect to it. And then, so I've got the volume here, the actual dial is attached to my Spotify volume on my computer. And then if I hit the different buttons here, right now I've got copy, paste, undo, redo, a couple different things there. And then I've also got got one here, opens up the calculator when you hit 7. And then this one here opens up File Explorer to a specific file. And then I've also got one that'll lock my computer as well. And then on this one, I have one that'll open up, that I mentioned in my presentation, where it opens up all the different Microsoft tabs. So that's 5 there. If I hit that, so then it pulls up the different Microsoft portals, so you can get quick access to that. As well, on this one, I also have, on the 3rd one here, is just a basic number pad if you don't have one, so you just go through it, just 1, 2, 3, 4, just each number. And then the rotary encoder, right now I just have it for adjusting my volume for Spotify, but I will be adding maybe like a zoom feature or something like that.
Right. So I'll demonstrate quickly the user control. So I'll go forward. It's a little bit tough because we're on a slope, but turn it, keep going. Move it all the way around. The idea is to have it up meters, and once it counts under 1 meter, it will automatically stop. And then once the user continues out of that 1 meter range, it will automatically continue the sequence again.
My part of the Pong project, beside the frame, was 4 controllers. And as you can see, there are only half of controllers there. Other half is on breadboard, which is our last minute change. I basically just send the information to Eugene's board and receive the score information from him. Anyone else?
So one of the most obvious upgrade is before we could hardly kick the ball to the other side of the table, but now
Yeah.
but as you can see now it's stronger, and the ball catcher is doing its job. Once the ball fell into the goal catcher, it should
try
change the score.
Yeah,
Yes.
it should decrease.
Yes, Daryl lost his life.
Yeah, so Daryl now has 8 instead of 9. And when the player gets 0, he's out of the game. His controller is off.
Oh, it has the controller right down.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm playing just with oh, I won! Nice.
Oh no. Wait. No.
Working because it was initialized at 9. Alex controller
Where's the ball?
not store the score.
Over there. Oh, okay.
You didn't we're like actually gaming here, you know?
Oh, nice.
GJ, calling the catcher.
What's the yellow one? That's Daryl.
Oh, nice defense.
It's tracking. Yeah.
Hey there, just hanging out, ready to chat. What's up with you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. What's the weather like today?
The weather in Moose Jaw is kind of cool at 8.1 degrees Celsius with a few clouds. Perfect weather for a cozy sweater. What about you? Any plans for the day?
I'm going out playing soccer with friends.
Sounds like a great time. Just remember to warm up those legs before kicking the ball around. Are you playing for fun, or is there a friendly competition going on?
It's just gonna be for fun.
Test button. It shows this resistor, and the value is that resistor, and it shows that it's from pin 1 and pin 3. From here, this is pin 3 and this is pin 1. Let's grab a bigger value. Here. Now it shows it's 776 kilo ohm. By only reads from like small value like 10 ohms, but I'm not sure whether there's any lower value it can read. Higher value is like 10 mega ohms. You can reach up that. So, well, for the capacitor, I'm going to unplug it and try to do the capacitor because that I didn't include a power button over there. And it reads the cap value and also the ESR value, but ESR value is not like very precise because I compare with that benchtop multimeter right there is not exactly the same. So
does polarity matter for the capacitor?
You mean the value?
I mean, does the polarity matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So if I flip it, oh sorry. It also reads the value. And flip again. Yeah, you just change the pins, so. And if I try this one. Oh. So it shows that this capacitor and the value is 22 picofarad. And for the diodes, I only do like whether it is positive lag or negative lag. So let's go ahead. So from pin 3 to pin 1, that is where the voltage drop comes from. This is positive and this is negative. So this is pin 3 and this is pin 1. If I flip it, now voltage comes from pin 1 to pin 3, which is positive and this is negative.
It's CAD, and this is my project for the multifunctional air quality monitor. As you can see here, there's a different kind of this sensor for different kind of the parameter. And first of all, here will be the carbon dioxide sensor. That one will be that's the VOC, and this one will be the ozone. That one is the particulate matters, and that will be the temperature and humidity. And here's the main brain for the project, that is Adreno Pro Mini. And right here is the main display, Action 2.8-inch touchscreen. And here's the UI for different kind. It's pretty straightforward and intuitive that you can see different kind of value for those. The temperature, humidity, carbon dioxide, ozone, VOC, and PM2.5, and also those are color coded so that you can directly know like if some of the parameters is like existing for the safety limit. And once you click on it, yep, and it will jump into the graph. It will like show you the 24 hours history data for the parameter that you select. And once you hit it again, it will just jump back to the main screen. And here's a little dim function here as well, just in case if you want to let it run for overnight. If you dim it, it will turn dark a little bit, and until you can just turn off the screen, so it won't distract you when you're sleeping. If you want to turn on again, just hit it again. Then, yep, that's